11 things that happen to your body when you lose sleep. Do you often feel tired and groggy in the morning? Even on nights when you've gotten enough sleep? If you've ever spent a night tossing and turning, you already know how you'll feel the next day, tired, cranky and out of sorts. Most of us need around 8 hours sleep a night, although this can vary from person to person. We might sometimes go through 1 or even 2 nights without sleeping at times, but most of us will sleep every night. Not getting the sleep that we need can be quite unpleasant for us and can have a considerable impact on the quality of our lives. It's a frustrating experience, but missing out on quality nightly sleep does more than make you feel groggy and grumpy. Sleep deprivation is usually only a short-term problem for most of us. It might be due to temporary disturbances keeping us awake or maybe even a sudden change in the weather. Others, however, might have long-term problems contributing to sleeplessness, and this can cause significant symptoms. The long-term effects of sleep deprivation are real. Welcome to our channel. You're on a journey to optimal health and wellness, and we're right here with you. Now let's get started. Let's look at 11 things that can happen by a continued lack of sleep. Number 1. Fatigue. The first and most obvious symptom that you'll experience if you don't get enough sleep is fatigue. This can be apparent even in people who have only missed an hour or 2 of sleep. Fatigue tends to compound as your sleep debt adds up. If you miss 2 hours of sleep one night, you might find yourself a bit tired during the day. If you miss 2 hours of sleep every night for a week, then chances are you'll be quite lethargic by the end of the week. Do your best to set up the proper environment so you can get enough sleep on a regular basis. Number 2. Confusion. After just one unrestful night, we have all experienced mental fog, fatigue, short temper and lack of focus. When the brain isn't able to rest enough over a longer period of time, mental faculties can decrease drastically. We know that adequate sleep is necessary for people to feel sharp, concentrate and learn, but it also impacts our problem-solving skills and the ability to make decisions. As your sleep debt continues to compound, it will become increasingly harder to follow what's going on in front of you. Sleep is the time that your brain uses to recharge itself, assimilate new information into its memory banks, and rejuvenate itself for the day after. If you don't get enough sleep, then your brain will still try to process things from days or weeks prior. This can lead to an overall sense of confusion. Number 3. Stress. Another thing that is quite common for people who don't get enough sleep is stress. Because your brain uses the time that you're sleeping to recover, if you don't get this time then you will be more prone to anxiety and stress. The confusion tends to get more and more severe the longer a person goes without sleeping. After entire sleepless nights, people often have a hard time following simple conversations. Number 4. You're always in a bad mood. One of the most common things associated with extreme sleep deprivation is emotional changes. Lack of sufficient sleep makes a person grumpy and irritable. It's easy to say or do things you later regret if overtiredness prevents you from thinking before speaking or acting. In addition to becoming more stressed, people tend to experience more anger, irritability, depression, and general instability when they haven't been sleeping. A good night's sleep ensures that you are much better equipped to respond well to the challenges that invariably come up. Are you enjoying the video? Then make sure to click the like button below, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Number 5. Increased illnesses. Prolonged sleep deprivation can impede your body's natural defenses against infection. Sleep is a crucial component involving the regulation of our immune system. If we decrease our overall sleeping time, many problems may arise. While you sleep, your immune system produces protective, infection-fighting antibodies. It uses these antibodies to combat foreign invaders such as bacteria, cold, and the flu. With our immune systems hard at work defending our bodies all the time, most of us will not often fall ill. For people that suffer from sleep deprivation, however, our immune system is not able to work properly and falling ill may become a more regular occurrence. As you wake up throughout the night, this can cause sleep deprivation, which leaves you more vulnerable to infections. Sleep deprivation prevents your immune system from building up its forces and can directly affect the immune system. This means that we are more likely to fall ill to common illnesses such as the cold and flu more often. It also increases our chances of contracting more serious illnesses and reduces our ability to fight illnesses once we have caught them. If you don't get enough sleep, it may also take you longer to recover. Symptom number 6. You're always hungry. Running low on sleep can increase the production levels of two hormones, ghrelin and leptin, which control feelings of hunger and fullness, also known as the hunger hormones. Leptin tells your brain that you've had enough to eat. Without enough sleep, your brain reduces leptin and raises ghrelin, which is an appetite stimulant. Too much ghrelin makes your body crave fatty and sugary foods, so when you're not sleeping properly, you tend to eat more of what you're craving because you're not feeling the signals to stop eating. The flux of these hormones could explain nighttime snacking, or why someone may overeat later in the night. Number 7. You've gained weight. With increased appetite comes another unpleasant symptom of sleep deprivation, which is weight gain. Lack of sleep can affect numerous hormones which can stimulate your appetite and slow down metabolism. When you're tired, you often don't watch what you eat and look for all kinds of things to help you feel more awake. Eating more means more calories, which can cause us to become fat. It will also become especially difficult to exercise if you're feeling too tired to do so. A lack of sleep can also make you feel too tired to exercise, and over time reduced physical activity can make you gain weight because you're not burning enough calories and not building muscle mass. Excess weight can lead to significant health problems, so it's important to exercise and eat well when possible. Healthy living also helps to improve your quality of life overall, so everyone should do what they can to keep in shape. If you're having difficulty sleeping, keeping the extra weight off can be a lot harder. Number 8. High blood pressure. Sleep affects processes that keep your heart and blood vessels healthy. The constant flow of blood around our bodies is essential for us to live. In order to achieve a constant flow, the blood needs to be pumped at a certain pressure to ensure it circulates throughout the entire body. Without it, our bodies would be starved of the nutrients that are carried in the bloodstream. Despite the need for a certain blood pressure, however, things can get dangerous if your blood pressure becomes too high. A lack of sleep can lead to a high blood pressure, and this could cause some potentially serious complications, like a stroke. If you have high blood pressure, you should arrange to speak with a doctor as soon as possible. Number 9. Memory problems. Sleep is essential in our lives, and depending on the level of sleep deprivation, many functions in our body are going to be affected. One of the biggest issues associated with lack of quality sleep is with memory. Studies show that lack of sleep damages memory, and people who don't get enough sleep can have difficulty remembering things. While we are sleeping, events occur in the brain that help memories to become firmly implanted in our minds. Sleep is important because it allows our brain to assimilate new information that we have learned into solid memories. Since the brain does not have sufficient time to create new pathways for the information you've recently learned, sleep deprivation often affects how memories are consolidated. Number 10. Paranoia and hallucinations. Did you know that being exhausted all the time doesn't just dent your health and your productivity? It can also make you paranoid. People who experience prolonged periods of limited bedtime can become disoriented. They may not register the passage of time, or even know what day it is. This can be accompanied by visual hallucinations and paranoid thinking that someone is out to get them. This effect is much more common in people who have been awake for days on end and won't likely be a problem for people who are simply missing an hour or two of sleep every night. People with very severe insomnia may begin to feel afraid of things that they weren't normally afraid of. The longer you go without sleeping, the more likely you are to experience paranoia. Seeing things that aren't there can be a side effect of chronic sleep deprivation. People who have not slept in 48 hours or more may begin to experience hallucinations. People often say they feel loopy after a night of no sleep. However, if a person goes days or weeks without sleeping, these hallucinations can become more and more vivid. They may see people that are not there or find themselves engaging in situations that are only apparent to them. Again, not everyone who experiences sleep deprivation will have these symptoms, but there's certainly something to watch out for. Number 11. Aging appearance. Beauty sleep is a common term that implies that sleep helps us to look better. For the most part, it is quite accurate, as lack of sleep can have quite an effect on a person's appearance. Anyone who cares about their complexion should know that lack of sleep affects skin quality. The body utilizes sleeping time to produce hormones that repair damaged tissues. If you cut down too much on the amount of time you sleep, you deprive the body of these self-repair opportunities. Sleeping can also have an effect on your appearance in the long term. When we're sleeping, our bodies release hormones that help to keep our muscles, bones, and skin healthy. A lack of sleep can affect the health of those systems. In addition, insufficient sleep causes our bodies to release a hormone known as cortisol, which breaks down skin collagen. Most of us inherently know that lack of sleep the night before can lead to a day of feeling exhausted, unfocused, and even grumpy or emotional. The best way to prevent sleep deprivation is to make sure you get adequate sleep. Follow the recommended guidelines for your age group, which is 7 to 9 hours for most adults. Other ways you can get back on track with a healthy sleep schedule include refraining from caffeine past 2 o'clock, or at least a few hours prior to bedtime. Going to bed at the same time each night. Waking up at the same time every morning. Sticking to your bedtime schedule during weekends and holidays. Spending an hour before bed doing relaxing activities, such as reading, meditating, or taking a bath. Avoiding heavy meals within a few hours before bedtime. Refraining from using electronic devices right before bed. Exercising regularly, but not in the evening hours close to bedtime. If you continue to have problems sleeping at night and are fighting daytime fatigue, talk to your doctor. They can test for underlying health conditions that might be getting in the way of your sleep schedule. Remember to subscribe so you never miss any videos. And also click any of the links below to download free reports, or links to solutions and to our website.